So, what is going on, my fellow Americans? So, today I'm finally going to be going over the Arizona Senate race. And this is one that I've been wanting to go over for some time, but I decided to wait a little bit for more information to come out because this race has really gone back and forth the past few days. So, first to start off, we have the two candidates, or the two main candidates anyway. We have Martha Mcsally, the Republican, and Kyrsten Sinema, the Democrat. This race is interesting because this race is currently held by U.S. Republican Senator Jeff Flake, and he has decided he is not running for re-election. So this is an open seat, so meaning the factor the incumbency isn't really there. So similar to the Missouri Senate race and New Mexico Senate race, I'm going to go back to 2012, which is the last time this seat was up for grabs, and show you how it went. So in 2012, Jeff Flake won with 49.2% of the vote to his opponent, whose name I'm oddly forgetting for some reason, but I know his last name was Carmona. I think it was Richard Carmona, and he got 46.2% of the vote. So Flake won by 3%. You can see Jeff Flake got about 1,100,000 votes to about 1,036,000 votes. So Flake did pretty well. It was a very close race, especially for Arizona standards, which is usually a Republican state. But that's kind of changing, and I'll get into that in a second. So that was 2012's margin. And now the 2016 presidential election, Trump won with 49.03% to Hillary Clinton's 45.46%. Gary Johnson and Jill Stein did take some percentage of the total vote total, and they took about 6%. And that's actually pretty significant. Again, Arizona is a Republican state that's slowly turning over time into a Democratic state, or at least a swing state for now. And the reason for that is the growing Latino population. For the past few elections now, Latinos have been a big problem for the Republican Party, where they can't seem to reach across the aisle and get the votes that they need. And that's a problem, especially as the country is growing more Latino as well. So Arizona is one of those states where immigration and Latino population is booming, and that's why it's becoming more of a swing state. Now, going into the current polls, this is the real reason I wanted to wait. Because as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this has been very, very hard to see. Because it started off with Kyrsten Sinema leading every single poll. And then the primaries happened, and Martha Mcsally started leading for a little bit. Then Kyrsten Sinema retook the lead. Then recently, as of today, October 13th, Martha Mcsally retook the lead. So this race keeps going back and forth, and with only like 24, 23 days left until the midterms, it's hard to tell if this race is going to keep flipping back and forth or if Mcsally is going to take the lead and just run with it. So in the three most recent polls, we have Sinema up 2, Sinema up 3, and the most recent has Mcsally up 6. Now, you have to look at these polls and say, all right, well, what do we see that's common? Pretty easy one is both candidates get at least 40% of the vote. Besides that, the similarities kind of stop. Because after that, it's hard to tell. Because we have 3 different polling firms. All of them technically show the race either within the margin of error or very, very close. And each race shows that it's going to be competitive. And I think the most recent poll, the ABC 15 one, it could be most accurate depending on how people's views have changed after Kavanaugh, or possibly if there's a third-party candidate, like a Libertarian or a Green Party candidate, that is drawing support, which I think there is. And generally in states like Arizona and other conservative states, a Libertarian candidate draws away from Republican support, and Green Party candidates draw away from Democratic support. So if there's a Green Party candidate, which I believe there is, that could be pulling away some of Kyrsten Sinema support, which could ultimately affect her on election night. So now we're going on to the nth prediction. So I do ultimately think that Martha Mcsally will prevail and win this Senate race. My view on this has changed back and forth a few times. Because I know in the first Senate prediction video that I did, I had Kyrsten Sinema leading. It was in the tilt column, which is I believe 1 to 3%. But I still think Martha Mcsally will narrowly pull it out simply because of everything that's happened with Judge Kavanaugh. I think that'll be just enough to put it in her direction, and she'll narrowly win. So the final vote total, I think, will be Martha Mcsally with around 48.8% of the vote to Kyrsten Sinema's 46.9%. The reason I say that is because I think there will be a Green Party candidate and possibly a Libertarian candidate drawing support, maybe around 4 or 5%, and that will actually pull support from Mcsally and Sinema and make this race a Mcsally win by a plurality instead of a majority. And I feel like this is going to be kind of a common theme throughout the midterms this year. For instance, in Florida, I think whether it be Rick Scott or Bill Nelson, whoever wins, I don't think they're going to get 50%. And I think possibly in Missouri, I know I said Josh Hawley was going to get around 51% of the vote, but as things keep getting narrower, that could become a possibility too. If there's a candidate that takes a third-party candidate that takes maybe 5 or 6% of the vote, that could become a plurality win as well. So it's interesting to keep an eye on election night is how close these races are going to be. So that has been the breakdown of the Arizona Senate race. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Please like the video if you liked it. Share with all your friends, family, people you like, people you hate. Just share with everyone you can. And please subscribe to the channel. We have like 6 subscribers now. I think we can get it up to 10. I really think we can. So I'd really appreciate if you subscribe. And thank you, and stay tuned for the next video.